This time I'm looking in the most public online spaces.
So I set up a new TikTok account a few days ago, and I've just been engaging with content that I think is kind of linked to the femcel aesthetic or the femcel community. So it's a lot of stuff about eating disorders, a lot of like nihilistic mental health content that talks about not wanting to get better, not being able to get better, feeling very helpless.
It feels like it's way more about finding a space online to share feelings of loneliness and frustration than it is any kind of movement. But I have seen a lot of evidence of femcels directing their anger and that sadness inwards, and I want to understand where that's coming from.
Femcels are female incels.
I'm setting up a call with a woman I've been speaking to in one of the femcel subreddits. She doesn't actually identify as a femcel, but you need to hear what she's got to say.
If I was to use the word femcel, what would that mean to you?
There are negative connotations with that word because it's so incel adjacent. And obviously incels are associated with extremism, violence, misogyny, that sort of thing. So for me, it's hard to escape from that negative meaning of the word.
Have you had any relationship experience?
I've never had a relationship, unfortunately. I've never had any sort of experience past a kiss. I do feel shame about it because I'm 28. I feel like I'm going to be 60 odd, 70, and I'm just going to have lived my life alone. And it's scary and it's depressing and isolating. The thing that is wrong with me is my facial appearance.
It's tricky for me because I don't want to be another person who you feel is dismissing your feelings, but it's hard for me to look at you because I just don't see you as unattractive at all. Why do you think it's that?
I suppose my body dysmorphic disorder, but also because of the fact that I've never seen anyone be attracted to me. I personally find myself very unattractive, and I think that I just apply that to everyone else. I get a lot of stares, get a lot of people might smirk, things like that, and I just think, yeah, it's because of what my face looks like. And when I go to these communities, you see lots of women who have experienced the same thing. It's nice in a way to have that validation that you're not crazy, that you're not
She's not in the same boat as the incels.
It's a place where
she
I
can go to a bar and pick up a guy.
Experiences, and it makes me feel a little bit better because
any
I feel less
weekend
alone.
The more
of the
women
month,
that I speak to in these spaces,
right?
the less worried I am about.
It's not gonna be the most attractive guy, but she's gonna be able to pick up a guy. Maybe sometimes if the guy is very drunk, she might get a very good-looking guy that she considers very good-looking.
Feelings of isolation and loneliness, and the way
but she's not in the same boat.
She's dealing with the same feelings. I think I need to try and speak to someone with an insight into both these worlds to understand it better. So I found a pretty big femcel influencer, content creator who posts a lot on YouTube about her experience as a femcel. Her name is Kidology.
When I reflect on why I haven't been in an intimate relationship, it isn't because I am picky. Every man that I have shown interest in has not reciprocated my feelings.
Because you only show interest in the men you consider good looking, right? So you are
videos where you
picky.
speak about the femcel community, who tends to engage with that the most?
That's definitely a majority male audience. When I talk about sort of, especially inceldom, when I talk about things about physical attractiveness, about looks, that definitely does attract men. I think the algorithm has sort of associated me with those sort of topics.
How do femcels and incels differ, either in their experiences or in their online identities?
I would say that incels very much see the world as the problems, particularly modern society and feminism, and the ability for women to be far more picky about their partners, about who they have sex with, about who they form relationships with. Whereas most femcels that I've sort of seen online especially tend to see it as something that's wrong with them or something internal, especially their looks and having low self-esteem, low confidence, and that it's sort of something that they have to work on in order to eventually find those relationships.
So femcel spaces might not be particularly violent, but I know that some femcels are spending time in online spaces with incels, and I wonder what impact that might have. Al has some access to secret incel and femcel groups, so I'm going to see if she can get me into them. I'm on my way to meet Al again and another girl that she lives with who also identifies as a femcel. I'm feeling quite nervous actually. I've got no idea what they're going to tell me or what they're going to show me.
So what's the main things that you've found about the femcel community?
To me, it seems like more of a kind of like space for women online.
It's deeply hidden in the way that you have to know someone in a server or somewhere on the internet to do it. They even think that you might be a police officer or anything like that. They'll immediately just kick you. So you kind of have to almost blend in, and to blend in you have to be a part of these communities for at least a year.
I'd love to see some of the servers if you could show me the ones that you're in.
Servers like this, they'll have a channel and it will last 24 hours. Everything will be deleted. It'll be started again tomorrow morning. And so it's hard to navigate, which is why it's really difficult to track. There is like a lot of crude things like this, obviously, and incel like sexualizing women, and these characters are supposed to be young girls. This sort of humor is spread around. It's a kids' TV show, and it's just the caption of, you know, rape, 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 and that's supposed to be absolutely hilarious.
What's the darkest thing you've ever seen in one of those?
I've been sent videos of women being raped.
I mean, how old were you the first time you saw something like that?
I would have been around 14. Youngest I'd seen gore was probably 11. There was a server that my housemate was in, and the server was a very harsh and psychotic server.
Do you think she could maybe show us?
I think she could. Yeah, I think she'd be willing.
It was this server that was advertised as like femcels and incels only, you know, extreme gore, extreme views. Do not enter if you're normal.
Have you had any experiences in real life that you think have informed either, you know, your opinion on men now or why you're in these spaces online?
Yeah, I met a guy online when I was pretty young. He actually like sexually assaulted me basically. It's happened 3 times to me.
I had a similar relationship when I was 14. I didn't know that me saying no and him continuing to do it was wrong at all. It's happened multiple times in relationships. Multiple.
What's your experience largely been like?
So you've had a
as part of
relationship?
this femcel world?
Seeing like bad stuff, like people
Although
killing themselves, seeing people
Forsen,
getting
majority
bullied,
of
getting
femcels are
dogs.
probably
I don't enjoy
females
it,
that are
but at that time, I
kindergarten,
was so bored.
but
I
have
was
way
like,
to
well, this
high
is entertaining to
standards
me.
on
I
looks
obviously know now
and
that
are
was, like, fucked
chasing
up
the
and wrong,
Disney
but
prince
at the time, I was
fantasy.
depressed
These
enough to be like, I'm
females
killing
gets
myself anyway,
attention
so
from
why
lesser
not?
attractive men all the time.
What do you think the draw is for people
Understandable.
to come back to that content over and over again?
It's like a sickening addiction, I think, that a lot of people really are struggling to get over with. It gives you like this sense of just being trapped, and you can't go to your parents to talk about it.
They should just do one of those speed dating where they take 10 femcels and 10 incels, right?
You can't talk to your
and
family,
then you
you
know,
can't
like
talk
rotate
to your
every
teacher.
3 minutes.
How much of a contributing factor in some of the
be
violence that
an
we've
event.
seen in the incel community, that desensitization to violence?
Desensitization is like a huge
Femcels
thing.
wants a
You do
chat.
see it and you're like, interesting.
I mean,
You move on. You see another thing. You move on. After years and years on the internet, you
Incels wants a
you
model.
cope.
They won't
Almost.
admit it.
It is
but
desensitization.
you know, they got the opportunity, they'll
It
take a
feels to
fucking
me
model.
like what I've seen so far, incels has the danger of spilling out into violent acts against other people. And it feels like the most violent things we're seeing in the femcel community are affecting femcels.
Men are taught it's kind of fine for you to lash out on other people, whereas women.
Alright. Not very enough.